All right, Honors Pre-Calculus, Section 5.5, number 15. This is the way that I did it, which is not the way the answer key looks. I wrote down the way that the answer key in the book has, which I would never have come up with on my own. So what I did first is I saw tangent, 2x, and then I changed it into 1 over tangent. And then I moved it to the other side. And from there, I was able to cross multiply. Actually, I didn't multiply. I lied. I didn't cross multiply yet. I guess you could there. I changed tangent 2x into, is it 2 tangent x over 1 minus
Tangent squared.
Tangent squared, yeah. Okay. Then I cross multiplied. So I got 2 tangent squared x equals 1 minus tangent squared x. And I was like, oh man, this is so easy. That's what I was saying. It's like, yeah, that was a really easy one. So I thought, okay, so I got that tangent x would be all of the pi over 6's. And I wrote them out, and that's 4 answers. So that's where I got. Then I looked at the answer, and I'm like, how did they get 2 other answers? And I was trying to figure out for like forever, and I couldn't figure it out. I graphed it. I was like, maybe they're wrong. Maybe I'm right. And I graphed it on Desmos, and no, there are 2 more answers. So I collaborated with some peers of mine because I looked at the book answer key and I wrote that down for you guys, but again, I would never have come up with that. When I talked to 2 other teachers, they would not have come up with that either. They did it a different way. And I guess this is something that could happen in calculus, so I talked to one of the calculus teachers, and she said, well, first of all, let's remember things like, I don't know, 3x minus 4 times x plus 1 divided by x plus 1. If you guys had to simplify that, you would get 3x minus 4. Except that's not the full answer. These are not equivalent. Because what am I missing? X cannot equal 1. And that's because in the original question, there was a domain restriction that I can't see in the, sorry, -1, my bad. There's a domain restriction in the original question that I can't see once I cancel those out. So it kind of goes along those lines with domain. If I am solving this, I am not solving, that's a 4, I'm not solving for tangent x. I'm not solving for tangent x. But when I actually solved it, I solved it for tangent x. So what I want to do is, because I changed what I was solving for, I want to figure out where is tangent x undefined, and just make sure that those aren't solutions for the original question. Could those be solutions? Because I didn't solve for what I was supposed to solve for. I was supposed to solve for tangent 2x and cotangent x. That's not what I solved for. I solved for tangent x. So where is tangent undefined? Where is tangent undefined? Pi over 2 and 3 pi over 2, but yes, same thing, right? So I'm going to check those in the original question. So if I do tangent 2x minus cotangent x, tangent 2 times pi over 2 minus cotangent pi over 2, does that give me 0? So this would be tangent, wait, is it equal 0? Yeah, equal 0. Tangent pi minus cotangent pi over 2. What is the tangent at pi? And what's the cotangent at pi over 2? So that answer works. But I wasn't able to find it originally because I had gotten rid of tangent 2x. And we try it with cotangent, so we try, oops, not cotangent, sorry, the other thing. We try it with 3 pi over 2. So tangent 2 times 3 pi over 2 minus cotangent 3 pi over 2, which would give me tangent of 3 pi. And what is the tangent at 3 pi? And the cotangent at 3 pi over 2, this one also works. So while I didn't solve for them, if you think about what was originally undefined, not originally undefined, but what was undefined in what I did solve for, let's just double check and make sure those are also not answers. It's either that or you have to manipulate it around so you end up solving for tangent 2x and cotangent x, which is, I believe, what the book had. Okay? My question to my peers was, how would my students, how would they know that? The answer was, well, I mean, you know, in Algebra 2, you guys did learn about domain restrictions. You know about when things are undefined, etc. But basically, I showed you that now, so now you have to know it. Yes, Eva?
How was it really answered? Like, I don't understand because wasn't it just changed?
Right. Well, yeah. It was changed, but if I talk about when cotangent is undefined, when is cotangent undefined? 0 and pi. But when is tangent undefined? At different places. So while I didn't cancel it, it's just what makes it undefined are different places. So I have a technically a different equation there. It should all be equal. Like really, this equals 0 at the top here. So really, tangent x minus square root 3 over 3 equals 0. These should be equal, right? I mean, I would think these should be totally equal. But the problem is their domain isn't. Just like these two right here, these should be totally equal except their domain isn't. So that's why we're doing different processes here, but I'm trying to show you where we use those domain restrictions back in Algebra 2. It's because they weren't 100% equal. And that's the same thing that's happening here. These aren't 100% equal. They have different, like the tangent one has values missing where the original doesn't. Okay? So it's similar to the original. So that's what's going on with number 15. If you couldn't find 6 answers if you only found 4. I was the same way until I did some research and talked to other people. And that's what you guys are doing right now. You're talking to me. All right. And then section 5.5, same section, number 49, and I know 51 is another one. I had a lot of questions about why in my answer key is my cosine answer positive? Because in the second quadrant, isn't cosine negative? This is what the questions people are asking me. And I said, yes, cosine is positive in the second quadrant. They tell us sine u is 5/13, and they tell us it's in the second quadrant. So I can find my x value, which is -12, and the I'm asked to find the cosine of u divided by 2. Now, I do not know what u is. I just know it's in the second quadrant. So what I did was I thought about pi over 2, which is 90. And I thought about pi, which is 180. And I said, if I half those, it can't equal those. Those are kind of like the boundaries. If I half those, I would have between 45 and 90 degrees. And which quadrant would that be in? Sorry, I should have done that. Which quadrant would this be in? I heard you guys. First quadrant, right? It would somewhere between 45 to 90 be somewhere in here. I don't know where, somewhere in there. And in that quadrant, everything's positive. So you don't want to think about where the u value is. You want to think about where the u over 2 is. That's going to determine if it's positive or negative. Okay? If you have other questions, please ask. Please ask. Please ask. These were just like the most popular questions in the other bell.